Well, as the looks of the scenery behind us, it's been a long week, and it's going to be longer next week, but in a good way. I was invited to speak about fractional ownership in Florida this week in Fort Lauderdale, the Harness Horsemen's International. Harness Horsemen's International. I guess it's their AGM, I would assume. And I'm speaking 10 a.m. on Tuesday, so that should be a lot of fun. Anytime I get to talk about, isn't just about the stable, and it can't be, right? We don't need to pat ourselves on the shoulders or backs or say, hey, great job. It isn't about the stable. This is about what fractional ownership means it can do for our industry and how important it is for the future of horse racing. I think people are starting to understand that now, but it's important that we continue to drive that message through to the people that are trying to make change in the industry. So that's exactly what's on tap for Tuesday morning. Now, it is in the middle of the winter, and I was able to take Amy and the kids with me, which was important. My mother is going to meet us in Florida. It's nice for her mom to take a break whenever she can. I think the dogs will take care of Dad when she's gone away. She's going to leave 6 bowls of cereal out when she's gone away. So, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to relax. Anytime, especially this time of year. You guys know how stressful the month of January was for me, the first part of February. But obviously the horses really played a major role in that coming around. Very, very happy with the way they raced the last 2 weeks. And I think touching on some miles this week, some horses that I did want to talk about, giving you guys some updates is important. Obviously, you guys have seen all the horses this week now. Friday in Ohio, Saturday in Ontario. I don't think anybody should be displeased or unhappy with their horses. I had some people asking about the jogging set. You know, why are they just jogging? It's a great question. They're just jogging because 2 of those horses, their knees were starting to bother them. We wanted to back off. You know, and that's the one thing that we always try to do is treat the horses as individuals, right? Yes, we want to be training. Yes, the horse in stall 54 might be able to go in 244 or 242 right now, or faster or slower. That doesn't mean the horse in the next stall over can, and it shouldn't mean that. Just because they were bought on the same day and broke on the same day does not mean they're ready to do the same work, and we are constantly assessing and reassessing the horse's performance, ability, soundness, attitude, and then moving them around throughout the stable accordingly. That's why also, another great question this week from one of our clients saying, how come you got some trotters in with pacers? Well, right now they're all going the same speed. So it's really 2 things go into my decision on where to put the horses. The drivers, right? Sometimes I want to have a certain driver going with a certain horse, and it just makes more sense to put them in set number 3 rather than set number 4. And also speed. How fast are they going? How comfortable are they going? And then Amy will obviously look over that and say, well, this caretaker has 3 in this set or 2 in this set. Maybe can you move one around? So a lot does go into making those sets, but it is less to do with how fast we're going on that day and more to do with what the horse should be, what those 6 or 7 horses can do. I want to keep them together because they seem like they're together right now. And the list changes and the sets move, but at the same token, that's how we go about making those. So a great question a couple of times this week over the last few weeks, and every year we get this question: why do trotters go with pacers? Why are some sets going faster than the other ones? Why do some horses do a little more work than the other ones? All great questions, and I hope I've answered them. And keep in mind, and every so often I'll say this, if you have sent me an email and I haven't responded, you might have caught me on a day where I've got like 50 or 60 emails meant to respond. Maybe it's sitting in my draft. From time to time I will go into my drafts just to make sure, and lo and behold, there will be an email in there from a day or days or weeks ago, and I feel terrible about that. I try to answer all the emails as quickly as I can, but sometimes they do get missed. So if you have asked a question that wasn't answered or got an email that wasn't responded to, please feel free to reach out to me again. I truly apologize for that. So that was the babies. Very, very happy with what I've seen. I love the way almost everybody has turned the corner or a corner in their training and moved forward. The progression is obvious in the month of February, and it's important to show you as many videos as you can. This is one of the most important months. Now they're starting to become, let's say, junior racehorses. Now they're starting to really show some pop and some understanding and knowledge of their work, and it's very, very impressive to watch. Now this week at the track, not the week we had last week. We had a killer week last week, but we had a very good week this week also. I was truly impressed with Unbeatable Kemp. I almost kept him at Northfield. He went so good, but we decided to never put him back at the Meadows, not poke the bear. I don't know if he'd stay sound at Northfield, so we didn't opt to put him back, although there was a big portion of me that said, wow, this horse really looked good at Northfield. Maybe we should go back there, and I almost did. But we opted for the Meadows this week. We'll see how that plays out. Renegade Gypsy, I thought first over, not his cup of tea. Can't really race him in that first over slot. He's never been good in that slot, never will be good in that slot. As I said to Ronnie, we talked briefly about a couple of things. Renegade Gypsy's one, and I did speak to him about Captain Incredible also. I said to him, I said, if you put Renegade Gypsy in a bad spot, he'll let you know right away that tonight's not his night. And that's just how he is. That's why he has not been the picture of consistency, because it's hard to consistently get him the right trip. On the front, in the 2-hole, covered up, somewhere along those lines. First over, hard no. Not really his go-to move, and there's not much you can do. Sometimes you're just caught in that position. Kings County, got a little work to do with this guy, and they said he was a little rough behind. I said the same thing to Stacy that I said to Jason the other day about Irresistible Son. Strip him down. This is not the same horse. There's nothing wrong with Kings County. We didn't have to rest him because he was lame. He had a spur in his carpal canal that we took out, but that should not have changed him. So we need to get him back to the way he was, but he is not there yet. So forget who he was, focus on who he is, and go from there. And now Kings County is in to go at Miami Valley this week. Interested to see the approach from Brett and Stacy this week with him. Locatelli continues to race good, 4th in the Open. I thought he was in a real good spot with Chris the other night. Has dropped down now into that 24,000 class where he's done his most of his damage this year in that class. So hopefully he can continue that trend this week coming. White Tiger up into that Open. I really would like to see them fill that 28,000 class. We're probably going to put him in a tag of 90,000, which I saw you looking. Amy not pleased, but we both know he can't do in the Open. I think he's worth more than the 70 on the tag of 70 on that 24,000 class. If they could just fill that 28,000 class, we would never have to race him in the Open again. We could tag him for 90. I think that's a fair price for him. Don't you agree? And listen, I want you guys to all understand this moment. See, you can see the anger behind the smile. But I want everybody to understand the moment. The stable is bigger than everybody, including me. And I'm just trying to sail the ship in the right direction. For those of you who think that, sometimes I do things and I don't care about the stable. We sold Carter Michael Deal the other day. It wasn't unanimous. We had people saying they wanted to keep Carter Michael Deal. We sold him for a reason, right? And when it comes to White Tiger, he's great now. He's 8, right? So he's getting to be an old boy, right? He's 8 now. He's still extremely effective. One might say as effective as he's ever been. Been a very, very good horse for the stable, and I know that Amy loves the horse to death also. But we have to put him in where he can do. And when you race 28 to 30 times 8 going on 9 in a year, and you're wasting well over a third of your starts because they put you up in the Open, we need to mitigate that if we can. And if we can race 22 quality starts in a class he can do some damage in, then I think it's a much better situation. One for White Tiger and definitely for us. Stay Close raced great the other day. I was a little surprised he got around Northfield as well as he did. That opens up a whole other book of avenues for this horse. He just continues to be a good horse for us week after week, month after month. And Collector, I think James was put in a tough spot with him. He drove him conservatively. I don't blame him for doing that. That was the right drive for that guy. And again, James was whining the other day. He wasn't really whining, but he said, I was ragging on him about Stay Special. That was totally different. I don't blame you for driving a 13-1 shot in a conservative manner, which is in a sale the next day. That is different. That trumps everything else. Now, again, that is in hindsight. I can't blame him for Collector. I almost said I would have done the same thing. I probably wouldn't have. But that's why James is the leading driver in Canada, and I never was or will be. So I was happy with the way he drove Collector. I thought he drove him very, very well. Went forward to Wednesday. We jumped over Electric Line. They didn't charge him the break. Definitely made a break. But I guess, whatever. Just for a second, I guess. No Chance in Hill, I thought, raced as good as he could. Now, before the race was the qualifier from Oh Snap You. Good qualifier. 2-3 last half, 1-1 apiece, or a minute apiece. She was good. Finished second to, remember I told you the filly that beat Swing Senorita beat? Yeah, the Mom Tom filly. I forget her name. It'll come. It doesn't matter. Snapu qualified well. I was really happy with her. No Chance in Hill, 2 minutes, first lifetime start and a half. Can't be unhappy with that. I thought the horse raced great. And Texan Soprano finished third that night. Scotty he loves the horse. He's a beautiful horse. He was a very good purchase. And we're not always going to get that. We're going to make bad purchases sometimes and try and mitigate them best we can, whether that be short term or long term. But as long as we get horses like Texan Soprano, like Looks Like Money, like Locatelli, good quality animals, it makes it worth it at the end of the day. Carter Michael Dio jogged on Thursday, 53-2. I did have some calls about purchasing him, and we did sell. We opted to sell Carter Michael Dio on Thursday afternoon. It wasn't an easy decision. Very nice horse, and I think he's got a bright future, but he's not without his deficiencies, let's say. And will they come back to bite him? I suspect he'll become a gelding at some point in the near future, whether that be in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or next week or 2 months from now. I suspect he will not make it through the calendar year of 2024 as a stallion. My prediction. International Spy did not race good, but there's a lot to unpack there. I had talked about it in a couple of videos this week. Tim and I had talked about it also. I think there's some things we can do to help him. Wanted to get a look at his blood work first and what we had to work on, but really happy with what I saw gait-wise from International Spy. Obviously, you want to see a lot more work, a lot more output from this guy, but that will come. Irish Ray was disappointed. Can't be angry at a horse for not racing better. He didn't do anything wrong the other day. I just hope something shows up in his blood and he can come forward and prove, except for my father's sake and my mother's sake, that's their horse. But it's tough. You know, as I jokingly say to people all the time, PEI exports potatoes, not horses. It's tough to take horses from PEI. There's been great horses come out of PEI, but it's a low percentage move, and it's a tough place to get to take horses out of PEI because it's such a transition, right? And it's not always. A lot of that speed is lost in transition sometimes. So I hope Irish Ray does well for my parents. I really do. Ready for Landing made a break to the point where James was irate after the race, and he finally wore me down, and we castrated Ready for Landing today. So for any of my partners that just absolutely wanted him a stud, he missed the boat. That ship sailed. He is a fresh gelding as of 1 o'clock this afternoon in Ontario, Ready for Landing. He needed. We were going to get 3 weeks off. Now he's going to get them because he's going to need them. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Got to watch Patrick the Piranha race on the way home. Piranha race. He was fantastic. First over 52-2. Just been such a good horse for us. He'll find himself into the open now, but he's proven when he's on his game, they don't want to see him coming. He doesn't have to worry about the other way. He's as good as any horse at the Meadows for the most part when he's on his game. 48-4 proved that this year, this summer, this fall. In September, 48-4 in the Meadows. No free lunch. I might have rushed to judgment on him. He did pace 53-3, come 28 apiece. I don't think he was getting a hold of the track. So let's see how the track situation is this week. Tim wants to work on his feet. Great idea. He thought that he had a plus pocket coming. Great idea to work with his feet. Feet lead to legs, and we don't want any more pressure. We can't be loading any more weight on those legs for sure. Stay Special was awesome on Friday, but quietly awesome. And I'll tell you how awesome she was. She went on 54-4, the last well over an eighth of a mile on a flat tire because she got interfered with, and the tire went flat. And then again, scoped with some mucus and blood afterwards. We opted to put her on the Lasix program, and I think you're going to see an even better Stay Special next time she goes behind the gate. Now, I'm on my way right now to race Walter's Keepsake in Miss Rocket Alley. Very, very happy with what I saw from Walter's Keepsake over the last little while. A little disappointed he didn't sell the other day. Not because I want him gone, just because I don't think anybody gave him a lot of respect. He's a quality animal. He's a decent horse, and I think he's going to show that tonight. Miss Rocket Alley is sitting on a win. She was very good last week. I don't want to overdrive her. I'm going to have to try my best to channel my inner James tonight with Miss Rocket Alley if I can, and see if we can't find the winner's circle with her. Now, I had some qualifiers this week. Hallie in the Clouds. She'll be making her debut at Mohawk next week. Very happy with her. Seasons of Love will likely go to London or Flamborough to make her first lifetime start. That last quarter, a little concerning to me, but at the same time, the mile itself was a big enough mile. She'd been ready to go in 2:3. Didn't really get there the way we wanted, but did get to 2:3. Hopefully it should show up, as I said, in London or Flamborough. Oakwood Cowboy needs one more qualifier under him. Like to see a good mile, 55, 56 out of him next week from James. We'll see. And then a schooler. Big update here. Looks like Money schooled 2 minutes last half, 57. James said he was very, very good. He'll qualify first of probably likely 2 qualifiers starting next Friday. Yo, Mister, not far behind him. He was at Mohawk today. Now, some other news. The 3-year-olds trained well this week. We had a great training session from Lover's Play. 2-6. Don't get too excited yet. She's still probably 2-3 weeks away. I did pay her into the Nommers 2 series at Miami Valley on the off chance she screams forward and becomes the horse that she shouldn't be able to. Somehow she is, and somehow she wants to be. Very intrigued with this filly. I have a lot of respect for her and can't wait to see her start. And then Pull the Shoes also, 2-7, 2-8. Last half of 1-1, 102. Bow in her neck. She was super strong. Both those fillies, I'm going away next week. I'm going to train at 1.5 miles. Were you out there to see any of them? You saw Pull the Shoes go. She was awesome. And you didn't see Lover's Play, though?
No.
She was so good. Both those fillies look good. An update on the breeding front. Punch the Clock was bred to Walner, I believe, last week. And eager, interested. Can't wait to see how things go with her. Ready for Landing, as I just told you guys, is now a gelding. It was bad timing. It was a really bad night to make a break, and James wore me down, and I finally said, fine. But this whole summer lays in the balance. I'm not going to let an attitude, because he's a stud, keep us from having a successful 2024. So that is the way it played out. Ready for Landing now, gelding. He'll get 3 weeks off and be right back at it. Time is on my side. Somebody said, where is he? Actually, Chris Christopher's been following him. He watched every one of his races.
Really?
And asked me, yeah. Every time he won, he said, geez, that colt looks really nice. And I said, yeah, he's a nice colt. He said, where was he this week? I said, no, I'm going to give him 3 weeks off and try and get him ready for the Sire Stakes. He said, that's smart. He said, it's a long year. I said, yeah. I said, looks like he could be the real deal. He could be a good horse. Now, it's so hard to judge because, and I said this before, no disrespect to the horses he's raced against, but they're not stake caliber horses, so it's hard to get a real feel for what he is or isn't or might be or might not be. All I can tell you is he looked awesome his last start. 54-4, 27-2 on the end of it, I think. Earplugs in, and his fastest strides of the entire mile were going under the wire. It was a big mile for him the other day. So I was very happy with him. Vaquero Blue Chip and Victory Blue Chip off to Mohawk next week, Harry said, and ready to train, so that's good. Super excited about them. Collector has been racing good in his barn also. I think he's going to be a real nice horse all spring long for us. He's really put it together nicely. This is the brother to Dominion. He's 4-year-old now, FaceTime Bourbon. Crantini, we're putting him in where he can win. And that's why I said to Tim the other day is, what do you think? Tim, you know the rule. Put them in where they can win. We're not hiding them. And Unbeatable Kemp is in a claimer. Grantini is going to be in a claimer. He's dropping down into the 30 because he doesn't fit there anymore. So he has to win a much lower claimer with his tag at somewhere around 21,000, 22,000 this week. But he is going to be in where he can win, and we will continue to commit to race our horses where they can do every single week for our clients. Irish Ray, I had mentioned him earlier. I really hope he comes forward. Intrigued to see what his blood work is going to look like this week. Kenobi, 2 for 2 in Saratoga. Obviously, the right move moving him to Saratoga. Very happy with Kenobi. Stay Special, we talked about her, and a little bit of blood, mucus, but still found her way to the winner's circle. Flat tire, mucus, blood, still won the race. So, an interesting timeline setting up for her in Ontario. Steel Cowboy, trained him the other day. He's ready to go now. Same thing. Don't need to win the bike again next week with him. I want a stiff 1.5 miles Wednesday, a stiff 1.5 miles on Saturday. Stretch him out real good, and we'll qualify him the week after. I did pay him into the Nommers 2 series. We'll see how that plays out in the next little while. Tactical Mounts looked great the other day training. I was so impressed with her. She's big. Did you go and look at her?
I was beside you.
Oh yeah, but did you see her in the barn? She's gigantic. And she was very good training the other day. Trained with, that's right, Flash Fly, Happy with Flash Fly, Insider Training. So excited about the 3-year-olds coming back this year and how they've looked. You know, you never really know. Are they going to transition well into that 3-year-old season? Pickpocket looks great. Arson looks great. Memory and Imagination looks great. Insider Training looks great. What am I missing? Some of the sleepers that we didn't talk that much about last year. Mel Gibson. Somebody said, was he any good last year? I don't know. He made 90,000.
I forget that.
Pretty good horse. He's coming back good. Mounts for All, who just was mentally vacant last year, very immature mentally, all put together nicely this year. I trained him the other day. He was all business and looked great. So very excited. You know, we still have lots of horses. Wallop still coming. Trained him the other day at 2-3. He's ready to go. Another mile. That's the aluminum shoes behind horse.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Texon Soprano is training, is racing great, looking great. A lot of people asking, yo, mister, I just told everybody he's almost ready to go. Looks like money is now teetering on qualifying next week and the week after. No Free Lunch is ready to go. Delicious Stone is going to make an appearance at Yonkers on Wednesday for all my clients. I've sent an email to you. I've mentioned it at least 3 times this week in videos. If you are one of my partners on Delicious Stone, you have to be licensed in the state of New York for Wednesday night. It's very important. I need everybody to pay attention to that. This year we're going to be a little more proactive with our licensing. I don't want to have to be making calls for the AGCO or for Standardbred Canada, the USTA, or any of our jurisdictions. If you have horses that will race or could race in multiple jurisdictions, do us a favor, do yourself a favor, and get a National Racing Compact license. Linda or I can help you attain that and make sure that everything is on the up and up, so that we don't have to make any calls at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for horse racing at night. As that pertains to this particular moment, Delicious Stone is racing at Yonkers on Wednesday, and then JK Victory, we're going to bring him out of the field this week as we sent Electric Line down. Whoever is coming back, hopefully can scoop him up out of the field. If not, we can run down and pick him up. But he is due to come back to Northfield Park and be trained down. Somebody said, well, do we not just send him back to Ronnie? We will. When he's ready to go, we'll send him back to Ronnie. We will train our horses down. That's kind of how we do it. When it comes to Captain Incredible, the only reason we talked about Florida is for him specifically. That specific case, I think he will do well to train back on a clay track. And that is why he's going to Florida. Anyway, I think everybody's up to date now. You get all your videos. You get almost an hour of Amy and I talking about our top 10 lists. Pretty cool video. I tried my best to update everybody on the racing last week, what's going on this week coming up, updates on every single horse. Very happy with the way things are going. We are off to Florida on Monday. I'm speaking in Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday morning at the Harness Horse International. That's what it is. Harness Horsemen's International. Yes. On Tuesday. It should be a lot of fun. It's always nice to get our voice out there, to get our product out there, to get fractional ownership out there to the industry and explain to the people that are trying to shape and mold the industry why it is so important to them. So with that, I'll let you go. I will talk to you all very soon. And any questions you have about staking, about training, about where a horse is at, when he's going to be ready or she is going to be ready, why a horse could or would or was sold, please drop me a line. I'm happy to talk to all of you at any time. You all know how to get a hold of me. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We did. It was a very good, a very successful training weekend for the babies. Very happy with what I've seen on both sides of the